Did you
absolutely.
ever have people praying or protesting outside your clinic?
Yeah, so we had people protesting, not in a good way, definitely in a bad way. The kind of protesting that gave me motivation to walk into work every day, put it that way.
What can you
Gave
go into that
me,
a little bit more so that people realize what it looks like from the other side?
yeah, I mean, when there are people yelling, you're a murderer, you're killing, this is a killing mill, with pictures of aborted babies, all of that kind of stuff, that felt very judgmental. That felt very, we're trying to put shame on you. And that made me feel like you have no idea what you're talking about. You don't actually care about women. You actually just are trying to protest what we are doing. And so that gave me more motivation to try to protect these women. That gave me more motivation to try to get them in quickly and safely and help them as much as possible to shield them from you with your judgment and your hate. Now, that being said, there was one guy and his children that would come and they would stand at the top of a hill outside of our facility. And when they would come, there were times where our autoclave machine would stop working, our phone system would go down, something in the building would go down, and somebody would turn and say, "Is that man and his children outside praying?"
Whoa.
And we would look, and sure enough, that man and his children would be outside praying. And that was far more helpful to the pro-life cause than the other stuff that was occasionally going on.
So praying was usually the most like effective way to reach people was when you saw people in
Yeah.
prayer. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, and again, this was over 20 years
Mhm.
ago. So at the time, there wasn't a lot of advocacy going on like we have now, with resources for women, with Sidewalk Advocates for Life, that their main goal is to advocate resources and help the woman. It's not a protest. There's a very big difference between being an advocate and protesting. And at that time, it was protesting. 40 Days for Life wasn't even around at that time. So that didn't even exist. This man was just kind of doing that already on his own. And so I think that there is a big difference in those two things. And I think I wish that there had been advocates outside when I had gone into the abortion facility as a client, because there wasn't. There were protesters, and that was it. And I think that if somebody had said, "Hey, we can help you. Hey, there's resources for you. Hey, we want to," I think that could have changed my mind. Whereas somebody standing there with signs and yelling things at me, again, just pushed me into the clinic.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's good to hear it from someone who's experienced it that way because I think as pro-lifers, sometimes it's easy to get things black and white. It's like this is wrong, we have to go protest it instead of trying to look at what struggles are women going through and how can we meet those
Right.
needs? How can we be there
Right.
in a compassionate, loving way and help them choose life and empower them to actually take care of their child?
Yeah, and I think if you want to protest it, protesting it in hours where women clients are not coming in,
Mhm.
I mean, that's fine. If you want the businesses around to know what's going on, if you want the neighborhood to know what's going on, I can see some value to doing that. But if you have clients, women who are coming in, that is not the time to protest, because your main goal in those moments should be providing resources to those women so they can choose something else. And a protest does not do that.